Hey, John Mayfield, the business tech guy. Also go by the real estate tech guy, and you're watching my YouTube channel for the business tech guy, where I've done technology training for years and years, especially in the real estate sector. I also do some inspirational, motivational stuff. I kind of post that over on easy sales meetings. And then I have Global Real Estate School, where I help students get their real estate license. So recently I decided to move my CRM from Keap, which used to be called Infusionsoft, to a new program called High Level. Some people call it Go High Level, High Level. It can be white labeled as well. And I have to tell you what, it is the most amazing software. Now, full disclaimer, for some people, you may say, I don't get it. This is a little challenging. I kind of thought that at first, but then when I made the decision to move my CRM over from Keap, I thought, I got to figure this out. My good friend, Julian from London, he had told me about Go High Level. And so I got in, I decided to make the switch. I'm saving over $800 a month. That's right. Over $800 a month. I was using Keap, which has some built-in tools that I could have continued to use, but I wasn't crazy about them. So I was using Lead Pages, which I absolutely love. Lead Pages is a great product. Also used a product called Customer Hub, which I liked. Customer Hub used to be part of Keap, but they switched off. Calendly, which I love. But I had all these different reversion for my referral folks, my affiliates, all these little pieces that I heard a lady talk about bootstrapping. And I thought, boy, that's what I was doing, was bootstrapping. And now it's all right inside one program. So I want to do some videos to kind of share with folks who are getting into Go High Level or High Level that might be running into some issues or problems like I was. And then I would call technical support, which, by the way, I love. And let me just show you this right up here. You just click on the help icon and you click on Zoom and you go right in. They put you in a waiting room, and then immediately you go into a Zoom room and somebody's there to help solve your problem. Now, I get some great folks from support who just teach me all kinds of things. I get some folks that are new, and I'm probably teaching them more than they are me. But it's funny, I develop and learn things as I go into the support center. They also have this amazing website here. I'm a big visual learner, and so I can go in here, type in what I'm looking for, as you can see here, and which I'm going to show you today on Zoom links that are available for your calendar. And you can see they're available for round robin or collective calendars. So everything's built in here. I'm saving over $800 a month. I absolutely loved it. The people at Keap were like trying to tell me that my emails would bounce and all this other stuff. But so far, everything's been great. There are some things you have to set up in advance, and you have to kind of warm your CRM up, but I haven't had a big problem with that, and I think it works great. So I'm giving it 5 stars, but I want to show you and forewarn you that there is a learning curve, but don't panic. You just subscribe to my channel, because I'm going to try to show you all the stuff that stumped me that I figured out. So today, one of the things, which I also do a podcast for my Global Real Estate School, and you can check it out on any of the podcast platforms. I wanted to create the ability for my calendar, because, you know, you can tie your Google Calendar in here. And if I go over here to Google Calendar settings, you'll notice that I have some calendars here. So I'm going to show you this first one here, which is my calendar ID. So I'm going to go in to edit this, and you just set it up like you would. This is my podcast interview, so I want to set this out so that people can sign up with me, and you can see it's a podcast review. The one thing you have to do down here, because it integrates with Zoom, is this may show custom or it may show something else. Well, I want it to show Zoom. I want it to integrate with my Zoom account. So set your colors up. Availability. This is 45 minutes that I think I need for my podcast. You can collect payments. There's some other notifications here they're going to fill out. And of course, you have additional customizations. So you just save this just like that. But that Zoom link will enable me to put my podcast calendar out to individuals. I did one today, and I set up the invite. And so when the invite comes in, I'm going to show you the automation. So we're going to jump over here to automations. And actually, I need to go back over here, and we'll go to automations right here. And then I'm keeping everything in folders. And I've got to tell you what, this was probably one of the most healthiest things for me to switch my CRM, because I had been at Infusionsoft or Keap for many, many years, since 2011. It's funny, the lady said, well, would you like someone to call you? And I'm thinking, I've been with you 13 years and nobody's ever picked the phone up and called me and said, hey, do you like our service, or anything we can do for you? No, the only time I heard from them is if I was 2 days late with my payment, which, like everybody, especially as an online marketer, you have some challenging times. But anyway, beside the point. But it's been healthy for me to kind of reorganize, get rid of stuff, clean up my emails and so forth. And so this is my folder for automations, is what they call it's your campaign or a workflow. There's different things that we'll talk about, but this is an automation. So again, this is for my podcast. So now when someone, and by the way, when someone sets up for my podcast, this is the information that they're going to receive. I shouldn't have hit the back button. I should have hit this. And by the way, I totally get it. You can do all of this in Keap or Infusionsoft. It's just, it's nice that I have everything right in here. I don't know why I moved that over, because I have the camera right in front of me. That's why. So here you would set up a trigger, and you can see that I just said, look, anytime that an appointment is booked in my calendar, and that calendar was called what? Podcast Interview with Global Real Estate School. Anytime there's an appointment book, we want to trigger this automation. And so what I was going to say, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. I'm really excited about this program, but when I said, by the way, is yes, you can set this up in any type of program like Keap, but it is very nice that I didn't have to leave Keap and go to Calendly or set up all these other things outside of my CRM. This is all inside my CRM. So a trigger is when something happens. In other words, you sell a product, someone sets up an appointment, a tag is applied to someone, all these different ways that triggers are initiated. And I'll show you more of those as we go through. But in this case, it's really, the trigger is if anybody ever books an appointment for a podcast interview, then it's going to initiate this trigger. Okay. Now, just for fun, let's go back over to calendars, and I'm going to go into my calendar settings, and we'll copy the link, and we will go out here to a new tab. And just so you can see what this looks like, very similar to Calendly. And again, I was able to save an annual subscription with Calendly, $149 a year. So, what's that? $10, $12 a month I saved. Literally, I'm saving $850. Now, for my podcast, I don't take those at any time. There's just certain days that I want to take the podcast interviews. So these are the time slots, and I really want to do those in the afternoon. So it gives you all the information. If you set up a podcast right here, that is going to set up an appointment on my calendar, and that will then initiate the automation, the workflow, which is down here. Again, keep everything in your folders. I think it makes it much easier. And so what I did with this specific workflow is I said, okay, if someone books an appointment in this calendar, and by the, you can see I have several calendars there. I have I have students who need just 15 minutes with me with Global Real Estate School, but I want the podcast. That's the calendar that I want to trigger the appointment for this workflow. I assign it to me, John Mayfield. I add a tag, podcast guest appointment, because I think, I'd like to have that to search for those people. And I send them a thank you email right here. And so the thank you email just kind of sets up telling them about the podcast and so forth. And here's the real other key piece that I wanted to tell you about. Right in here in the letter, I was trying to figure out, where do I bring the Zoom information over? So there's a couple of key points I want you to know about. Up here, when you're inserting custom fields, they call them custom values. I'm used to Infusionsoft or Keap, where they call them custom values. By the way, many of us who had Infusionsoft, who was sold to Keap, even though we refer to it as Keap, we always say Infusionsoft, formerly known as Keap. So at least that's what I do. So you click on custom values, which is a field. And I was trying to find out, okay, where do I get that field at? Well, it's under appointment, and it's down here under the, the reason I don't see it is because I've already chose it. It's under appointment, meeting location. Okay. So we'll go back and I'll show you that here in a minute. So again, I want to thank them for agreeing to be on my podcast, but I also want to remind them the link to sign into. So you go up to these three dots, you then go right over here to custom values. You would then go to appointment, and you would go to meeting location right there. And that's what will put the Zoom link in. Now, I saved this as a new template, and I'm keeping all my stuff organized as well in my email templates, which I didn't do as well in Keap, and that's my fault. So now, this is key here. You've always got to click Save Action. And so now I tell the system to wait, and this defaults to time delay. But when you do the down arrow, you want to do event appointment. And I want to say 1 day before, 24 hours before, 1 day before, and I want you to send this email, which just is another template I did that said, hey, I'm excited to have you on the podcast. Looking forward to it tomorrow. If there's anything you want to share with me, let me know. It's going to be very laid back, conversational. And again, link to the podcast. You just go back up here to the three dots, go over to custom values, appointment, and then find meeting location. Okay. So so I'll save action. Then I want the system to wait to 1 hour before, again, telling them, see you in the next hour soon. I can't remember exactly what I say, but I saved it as a template 1 hour before, and I think I just give them the meeting location again. See you in an hour. Excited to have you on the show. And so I always say it's always good to save the action, because any changes, you could mess up. And then I say, same thing. We're just waiting for that. Again, it's going to default to time delay. Just look for event appointment. I want to do it after. I want to wait 15 minutes just so the guest thinks that I legitimately, I sat down and wrote this little kind email out. Hit save action. And this one just basically says, thank you for being on the podcast. And this one, I tell them that, I have some collateral that I'm going to provide them once it goes live. So there will be one additional workflow or step that I need to try to figure out so that when we share the podcast and it goes live, I can give them all the collateral they need so they can promote it to their websites. Now, when you set this workflow up, I watched a lady last night. She gave me a really good shortcut. When you go into settings right here, of course, you want to allow re-entry right there. And then right down here under sender details, what I did was, and again, I got this from another lady. I need to pull her name up. Great little podcast on Go High Level. You want to do user, and I just did my full name. Okay. I don't need that because we've already got it, right? I'm going to go ahead and just delete that to be safe. So we want to go full name. It's from me. And then here you want to do user email. Now, by doing that under settings, when I go in to write these emails, I don't have to put anything there. It will just auto default to that. Now, I just did this today. Sorry about that. I just did this today. One of the things, and this lady pointed that out as well, and I am too, is label these so that people kind of know what's going on. So this is wait 1 day before sending additional email with instructions. I think it's better when you start building these workflow. Well, they don't want me to do that many. So and I normally don't do that much. But now when I look at this, I can see what's happening here. Here, add podcast guest tag. See, now you can kind of get an idea as you look at your workflows what's really happening here. So this one would be wait 1 hour reminder email, because that's really what that is. And then here we would have this is after follow up. Thank you. All right. So follow up, thank you, email. Now, as I look at my workflow, I pretty much can look at, everything that's here, and makes it a little easier to understand. And, I think this one you can even, I don't think you can name that work. Yeah, I guess you can. Customer booked a podcast appointment. I think when you get in the habit of doing that, as you get in workflows, it makes it easier if you have a problem. And then, so all I need to do is click save. Everything is saved. So let me just go back very quickly to the calendars, and we'll take a quick look at, because I think this is the key and it's very important for you. So I'm going to go over to calendar settings, and now I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go to edit, and down here, remember, you've got to change this from custom to Zoom, okay? And the other key thing they told me is that as you, I'm going to go back to calendar, as you go into calendars, and I did calendar settings is where you want to go for that. when you create a calendar, and I think I showed you that just a minute ago, needs to be a round robin or a collective calendar. And so when I created the calendar, I tried the collective booking, and it needed 2 or more staff folks for that. So I just went with a round robin. And so this is what I started in my creation of the calendar. So I'd originally created this in just a regular calendar, but as you can see now, it is what's called a round robin calendar. So again, that's right there. Just make sure you do that if you want to integrate Zoom. Now, the other key piece to this are the integrations. And so you can do that from a couple of different places. I don't think you integrate the Zoom here. I think you actually do that from calendars and calendar settings. Was that it? And I need to find that out because that's important. So that was from, connections. Yeah, I've got my camera there, so my apologies. So connections, this is where I kind of set up my Google Sync right here, my calendars, and you can also go to video conferencing. So I've got that all set up already. And anyway, I'm good to go. It's Go High Level. It is truly an amazing product. It will have a little bit of a challenging curve for you, but I think it's well worth it. And I hope you will subscribe to this channel because I'm going to be doing more videos on helping you take your online marketing and sales products and real estate offices to a whole different level. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.